Oh, yikes. Well, hello. Hello there, everybody. How are you doing today? I'm so excited. I'm just going to set my screen here. Just a quick moment. Let me pull this one off. There we go. Welcome to our online money makers. I'm excited to be here today. Welcome, online moneymakers. And we're going to talk today about email programs. And this is really something that is important if you're building an audience and interacting with your clients, your prospects. And you know what? Email still really is one of the best ways to communicate with people. Now, some people think, oh, well, now it's all messaging and Facebook and social media and things like that. But really, truly, there is so much bang for your buck or time, whichever it is, where it's money or time you're investing, by communicating via email. It's still one of the best ways to communicate and connect with people out there. And I've had an opportunity to work with 5 different programs over the years. I used to be a web designer and programmer and, help people with their marketing. And so I use their programs. I also use them for myself. And so there's quite a bit of variation in some of the functions that they all do. I know there's way more than 5 programs. I'm just going to speak to what I personally have experience with, but the functions that they will do is just amazing. It really just blows me away. I mean, I go into my program and I look at all the actions, and that's one of the items on the list I want to talk about is actions, because you look at that and you think, well, that's how they did that. They did it through an email software program. So I'm going to talk about all kinds of functions from, creating contact lists, how to use tags, which is really important. And then, of course, those really neat actions, setting up campaigns, talk about lead capture systems and sequences, and just some really neat things you can do with email. And so that's our topic for today. So I welcome you here. I welcome you if you're brand new. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, thank you. If you're watching this replay, I'm glad that you're here as well. So let's just dive right in, and I'm going to talk about the 5 programs that I use first, and I'm going to talk then about those functionalities that you can use with them. So one of the first, I'm going to start with the free version, like MailChimp. A lot of people start off with MailChimp, and that's a really great starting ground. If you don't want to invest, because some of the software programs are quite expensive, you can start off with just the free version on a program called MailChimp. It's very, very easy to use. It's very user-friendly. And so what I've done with MailChimp is one of my book series. I have put inside my book series. If you don't know me, I also do publishing as one of my business models, print-on-demand book publishing. And I've put in with my book product, go sign up for my email list. And so as I did that, and then I would be sending I said, go in there and I'll be sending you some additional samples and sneak peeks at new things and just regular that newsletter kind of things. And so they would go and do that and go to the website and sign up for, and I use MailChimp for that program. And it captures the person's email address. And if they want to enter in, and you can choose to, if they want to enter in their last name or first name, they don't have to do that, but that is an option if you want to do that. So MailChimp is one of them, and that's a great starting place. So, and then another one I want to talk about is Constant Contact. You see advertisements on TV and hear them on the radio. They're advertising everywhere. Constant Contact is one of the least expensive ones out there to use. I think it's under $20. It might even still be $10, $12 today. It's very inexpensive, and it does have a lot of functionalities. So if you want to, upgrade, it's very easy to take whatever contact list that you have inside your email software program, download it, usually as a CSV file like Excel, and then just upload it to the new program. Now, these programs do not allow you in any way whatsoever to spam people. You definitely cannot do that. So I'm not condoning the use of spamming people and sending unsolicited email, because that is an illegal activity. You cannot send unsolicited email to people. They have to actually have said, yes, we do want to be on your email list. And then these software programs will allow you to email them. So anyway, Constant Contact is another one. It's also very inexpensive to use, very user-friendly. And then the third one to talk about is Aweber, who's been around a very long time. They have a big track record of a lot of things. That's a great program, really. As far as mid-range programs go, I worked with Aweber for several years because they have a really great interface. And the functionality that they do it's really at the level of some of the more expensive programs. So Aweber is a very good one to use as well. And the next one to talk about is Active Campaign. So I think Aweber, I believe, is around $19 a month. So I've just talked about MailChimp being free, Constant Contact being $12, $14, something like that. Aweber is $19 to start. And then Active Campaign is the next one to discuss. And Active Campaign starts at $99 a month. So it's a more expensive program, but it will do amazing things, which I'm going to talk about when I talk about functionality. So Active Campaign is a really good one. It also integrates with a lot of other programs that you might use in the future. And then I've used Infusionsoft as well. I had Infusionsoft for quite a while. And the starting point at that is around the $200 a month program. I no longer use Infusionsoft. My current program that I'm using right at this moment is Active Campaign. So I've had an opportunity to, use the most expensive thing out there all the way from the free thing. And, meeting in the middle, Aweber is a really great middle ground, and it does a lot of functionality. If you ever need to step up, Active Campaign would be the next one that I'd highly recommend. So those are the 5. And then I'm going to go through some features right now. If you have questions as I'm going along, please put those in the chat box or make a comment, and I'll be happy to try and answer those for you. I've sent a lot of emails, and so I could probably answer most questions for you. But really, this is something that I want to tell you, that when you send email, to be real in those emails. And one thing I try to always do when I'm sending email to my personal audiences, my course members and people that are in my network, is to not always be trying to sell them something. People don't usually sign up for email news lists to be sold to all of the time. So giving them tips and news, maybe industry news, think of what you could do so that you could build that relationship with the people that are on your list. So in my case, I shared news about the publishing business and how to make passive royalties by creating books online. But whatever that thing is that you do, if you could build that list and build that community, then you'll always be able to have that connection with them. Even let's say that you're working on even a Facebook group or something like that, and you're able to communicate through that way to all of your people. What happens if you lost that Facebook group? And that happens. I mean, I've had people that have had big, huge Facebook groups, and someone hacked into their Facebook account and deleted everything, and they lost it all. But if you have an email list somewhere, you're going to be assured that you will not lose that. You won't lose that information and that data, that you can always have those people to communicate with. Now, the great thing about it is people who've either purchased from you before or want to hear from you, then you have a captive audience with that. And that is a really great thing about email marketing. I'm going to check who's with us here today. Hey, welcome. I see some folks here today. I'm so glad that you're here. Wanted to make sure that I acknowledge and recognize you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that so much that you're here today. Welcome, everybody that's here and that's watching live on Facebook or YouTube. All right, first of all, I want to talk about contact lists. And inside any of these programs, you can create what's called a list. A list is something that's pretty broad. A list of, are these people, are these my students? A list of maybe of students, or a list of buyers, or a list of prospects. What is the broadest term that I could categorize the people on my list? Now, I might have only one list, and that's completely fine to have just one list. Most of these programs that I mentioned earlier, the MailChimp and Constant Contact, Aweber, Active Campaign, and Infusionsoft, will let you have multiple lists. And for me, I like to have multiple lists in my program. That way I don't have to buy multiple programs. So if there's a way that you can do that, that would also save you a little bit of money. And so a list would be that broadest term of people that you have. So creating a list. Now, tags is another thing. And I don't know that the lower end products do tags. I know that Aweber and ActiveCampaign and Infusionsoft all do tags, but tags is really a neat thing because that's where I can take each person, each contact in that list and tag them with something. So let's say I have a list of students in my case. So I have a list of students and I can tag each student with which particular course they bought because I have lots of courses. But think about how could you tag put a little tag, or it's like a note, but it's a tag to the people in your audience. So I know earlier we've had folks on here that sell what Renee sells, lots of furniture, for example, or wood products. So how could she tag people there? She could tag them with what their likes are or what their dislikes are. She could tag them with what kind of things that they like or dislike. So thinking of that, this would be kind of like narrowing it down a little bit, taking your contact that's on that list and what is the next thing that they would maybe have in common with each other using a tag. Now, the benefit of tags is then I can email an entire list with a specific email. And the neat thing is then I could say, of that list, please send the email to only the people tagged with this tag. Or I could also say, send an email to people that have this tag, but don't have this tag, right? So as I'm using my own as an example, please don't take that in any way that I'm self-promoting, okay? I'm just using it because that's a current example of mine. But if I have students that are in class, in one of my courses, course number 1, and they haven't signed up for course number 2, I could really send them an email that says, hey, you liked this particular online course. Have you considered this one? You might like this one, okay? And so those tags really make an effective way for you to communicate with them, for you to send different kinds of email to different groups of people by using tags as a way and a means of grouping people. And so it is absolutely worth the time to set that up. Now, the next thing, the third thing is actions. Actions can also work with tags. So I just talked about lists and tags. Actions are really phenomenal things. Actions are like, it's like email on steroids, okay? It's like, whoa, mind blown. Hold on to your socks. Actions. Actions will automatically move people around based on whatever action they take. So let's say someone is signed up for your email list. You can create an action that says when they sign up for my email list, tag them with this. Maybe you're tagging them with which website they signed up under. Maybe they purchased a product from you, and you can create an action based on that. And the action can be tag them with something. Now, another thing that they can, an action would be adding them to a different list. An action can be somebody signs up for one program and you move them from one list to another, tag them from one thing to another. Now, one of the most amazing things is actions can also, with retargeting and pixels and things, can also follow someone around on the internet. I don't even know if that's the right way to say it, and I haven't taken advantage of that kind of thing yet. But you and I know right now that we've seen it happen to us. And this is how it works. This is what those websites do to us. If I'm going around and I'm purchasing a product off of a website, may even be Amazon, I'm purchasing a product and I'm even just looking at the product, whether or not I buy it or not. Now, everywhere I go on the internet, I see an advertisement for that same product, okay? Now, also, if somebody buys my product or even just visits another page on the website. So let's say you buy a product, you buy a pair of shoes from a particular online store, you buy the shoes, and then later on you go back to the website again and start looking around on other pages. An action can actually trigger an email to you when you visit another page on the website, okay? That is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's amazing what actions can do. You can trigger those things just by the action that somebody takes. And depending on the software program that you have, it will be a long list of incredible things that you can do with it. So if as you're just starting out, I don't want you to get overwhelmed with that, but know that there is some really deep things you could do with it, and you could really get into it with actions. So setting up a campaign is just the email that you're going to send out. So all those email software programs to set up a campaign, you just prepare your email. You can either type it in directly or copy and paste it out of another program, and then put your signature on there and then send it out to your group. And the neat thing about that is that you'll get statistics based on your campaigns. And all the software programs I've talked about, they will have statistics. And what you would want to know is how many people actually opened the email. Now that's pretty cool if you didn't know that before. But when you open an email from a list that you've been a subscriber to, they know that you opened it. When you click that email, it shows. So I know that I had 40% of my recipients opened my email. And those are some good statistics to know. Do I average 10% of the people opening it, or 40% or 70% opening it? And the more people that open it and that read your message, that's more communication and relationship building for you. Now, as you go along and you maybe make an offer or create a product or a link to something that you're selling, the more higher that open rate that you have, then the better chances you have at somebody making a purchase. Now, there's been times that I try to be consistent with my email to my audience. Sometimes I forget actually a lot. I try to keep up on it. I'm doing much better with it. And the neat thing is they email me back. I'll send them a special tip or something, and they'll email me back and say how helpful that tip was, or what a difference and an impact that tip that I shared was to them. And so that's really nice, and it makes me feel really good that I'm helping support my community. But at the same time, when I do go to promote the next product and I am providing a pitch or a sale for something that I think they might be interested in purchasing, that's where the sales come in. And if I've all along kept great communication with my audience, and then I produce an offer for them through an email campaign, then I'm making sales. And that's a really beautiful thing. There's been many times that I'll send out an email, and half an hour later I'll have made $100 or $300 or $500 or $700, and that's a really neat thing to be able to have. So it's important that as you start building your audience, whatever product or service, or whether you're a coach or an influencer, or you're creating a physical product or even a digital product, how can you capture those emails from people? And all of the software programs I talked about will do a lead capture system. And before I talk about that, I want to at least go look. It looks like we had more folks here. Hi, Julie. Thank you for coming on. I recognize and see all of you there today. Thank you for being here with me. When you're setting up those campaigns, you need to have some way to capture the emails from folks. You can do that really easily. All the software programs I mentioned will do that for you. And it's just a little piece of code you copy and paste and put on your website. Some of them also have apps for your mobile device on your phone where you can, get them, like from a business card. You could have somebody put their information in off their business card, and it will immediately go to them. But a lead capture system is something where we're just capturing, the little name and address. And I know you've probably signed up for those before too, online. As a contact on somebody else's list. Now, of course, those lists we sometimes will unsubscribe from, and that's okay. Completely fine to do that. I don't want people on my list that don't want to be there. So we want to have a really good, audience that wants what we have to communicate to them. Now, lead capture systems could also have an offer tied to them, and a lot of people do that. The lead capture system may say, put in your email address and receive a special report or a PDF or some videos or a micro course or maybe a contact appointment with you or a special product, something in exchange for that email. And that's a really great way to capture those emails, and people are more willing to give that to you. So all the programs I mentioned offer lead capture systems for those. They're not difficult to use. And again, just copy and paste the little code onto your website. Let's see, the next one I want to talk about is sequences. And I have set these up. They're really an interesting way to communicate with folks. I would like to say that sequences are also automatic. And that would be in the scenario where somebody maybe signs up through your lead capture system, and then it does what's called an auto response. And that auto response would send them an automatic email, which would say something like, welcome to my list. Here's what you're going to receive from me, or here's where to go get the product that you just, I just promised them for signing up for my list. And that sequence could initiate in a particular order of your choosing. So the sequence might be send them a welcome email, and then 3 days later, send them another email that asks them if they like their product or will write a review for your product. Or if it's a micro course, maybe it's part 2 of the mini course that you're sending them, or it's a follow-up to the previous one. And those sequences can be built out in quite a variety of ways. You can send them to multiple different web pages on your website, different places for more information from you, or just follow-up emails. And it does take time to build those out, but having them be automatic like that is really a great way to simplify the process. It's a little bit harder up front because you do have to think it through. It's kind of like that map. I got the map. Well, if they bought this product, then send them down this pathway. If they didn't buy the product, send them this email and then follow up with this email and this email. Or they signed up for my webinar series, and if they didn't watch the webinar, then send them over here to sign up to watch it again. What could those sequences be for you? So we've kind of started with some very basics, but now we're talking about some more advanced features that are out there, which is some pretty cool stuff. Some other neat things you can do with email is send email that is just a plain, simple email, or you can send emails that have pictures in them and graphics in them. And people are so visual nowadays that it is nice to do that. Most programs now will also give you a mobile version because we read our email a lot on mobile devices. And so you'll be able to see how your email would look on a tablet or on a cell phone, if you're reading it from a cell phone, or even just from a regular desktop computer. And it's nice because you can see those different layouts. And other things that you can do is run tests. So another cool thing that you could do, is run a test where you can see who opened the email, but send 2 different versions. So if you have a large enough list, send one email to part of your list and send a similar email to another part of your list, like an A/B test, So you can see which one produced the best results for you. So that's another really neat thing you can do with email. Now, at this time, there isn't a way to send video directly through email, not that I'm aware of anyway, but you can. Most of the programs will say they can, but what I found is they actually just take a screenshot of your, let's say it's a YouTube video, and they take that video screenshot, and then when you click on it after you're reading the email and you're like, okay, you click the play button, which appears to be a play button, it just takes you out to the video for the person to watch. But still, that's a great way of doing it rather than saying, click this link. To have that picture in there. So that's a really, really cool way to do it as well. So the things that you can do with email are just phenomenal. They're amazing. And I want to encourage you to think about that as you're going down the pathway with your internet business. How can you do that? If you're setting up a store online and people are making purchases, how can you capture those email addresses to communicate with them? And how can you do that with people that are maybe even prospects? And to warm them up to your process too. So I'm going to check real quick and see if we have any comments here or any feedback from folks. Let's see here. We have, Shauna says hi. Hi, Shauna. That's great. Can't wait for this one. Thank you. And hello and hi. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to take a quick drink in case you have any questions But I want to encourage you to think about that in the future. Most of the folks here are either adding an additional stream of income or they're brand new. And I want to encourage you to start thinking about how you can build more relationship with your audience using email marketing. And I just gave you a quick overview of 5 software programs and then a whole bunch of features that are within these. And so I hope that has been a good training and education for you. I'll put some links. I do have a couple of affiliate links and for those software programs there. I'll put those in the notes at the end of this training. And yeah, check it out. Check out an email program. If you have questions about email software programs, feel free to put those in the comments area of either YouTube or Facebook. Let's see, we have a great way to serve your community and great tips. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Melanie, as well. Thank you for being here, Melanie. I miss you, girl. So yes, check out email programs. There's many, many of them out there. One thing that I do consider if I'm going to sign up for an email program, and it comes down to just a couple of programs and I can't choose one. And this is my personal tiebreaker of any program that's out there, any software program, be it email or anything. The tiebreaker always for me is if there is an affiliate program. We've talked about affiliate marketing before in this group of how when you share a link with someone and that someone makes a purchase from the affiliate link that you receive a commission for that. And obviously I'm not here to push you towards one software or another, but because I am sharing a couple of them that I have found great success in using, I'll share those affiliate links too. It doesn't mean I make a lot of money from that, but it's enough to buy me another cup of coffee. And I know that you're a cup of tea, and I know that you want to buy me another cup of tea, right? So that's my tiebreaker. Any other questions? Post those. Thank you all for joining me here today. I have some really great interviews coming up for you soon that are signed up for the month of June and throughout the summer. So stay tuned. Keep watching. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you know someone that might be interested and need an overview of functions that you can do with email marketing and some recommended programs, also share this video with them or tag them. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and like this video, hit subscribe, and click the little bell icon so you're notified when new videos come up. And go and have a fabulous day and make some money on the internet and go out there and do some great things in the world with it. Thank you.